In other words, I would like the discipline not to come from being able to control them, and not to come from being able to punish them, but rather to control theirself. That it's an inner drive, that it comes from within the kid that he decides to behave differently. How do you get a kid to sit down, shut up, pay attention, follow directions, and want to learn? Now, if I can do that, then I'll show you some really effective teaching. But the problem is, how do you get a kid to sit down, shut up, pay attention, follow directions, and want to learn? Well, I figured out, by the seat of my pants and out of desperation, a kind of a way of doing that, and I'd like to share that. Let me show you specifically how it works in terms of some examples that I use or have used around school. I had a kid that used to come to class 10 minutes late. It was always 10 minutes. Now, the first time he came in 10 minutes late, I said to myself, if I talk to him, it won't get him there any sooner. He's already there. And I assumed he had a reason for being late, and if he's never late again, then I would be wasting time discussing it, because he's here now, and we're going fine. The problem came when he came in about 2 days later, 10 minutes late. Now, a kid who comes into class 10 minutes late twice is more likely to come in the third time than he is than somebody who's never been late. So I have reason to believe he might come in again, and it certainly is a problem, but among my problems, that didn't really rank all that high. So I ignored it, but I noted. Now he came in late 10 minutes again. Now he jumped up quite a bit of ways, and by the time I got to him, he had been late probably 4 or 5 times. But I went by him in class while they were working, and I just said, hey, Tommy, I need to see you. He said, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I said, no, whoa, wait a minute. I need to see you, and I need to determine a time that I can do that. I don't want to, well, I didn't do nothing. You always pick. I don't want to discuss a problem. I simply want to figure out a time that you and I can sit down and talk about a problem. Now, we made, I said I have before school, and I have after school, I have lunch hour, I have 5th period preparation time, and I might even find some other time. And so we made an appointment. Now, if he doesn't come to the appointment, that's a different problem. That has to do with his ability and willingness to deal with appointments. But when he came in, what I had to say to myself is, what is my goal? Now, my goal is, in this case, to get him to see that it is a problem. Not to him, the problem to him, he'd be worried about. It's a problem to me. And I have a problem, which is exactly the way I started. When he came in, I said, hey, Tom, I've got a problem, man. And my problem is that you have been late to class at least 4 times. I think it's 5, but I have 4 of them marked here. You have been late to class 4 times. Now, it's a problem to me for 3 reasons. Number 1, it's a problem because you are assigned to my class, you are obliged to be here, and I am responsible for you while you're here. And when you're not here, and I don't know where you are, then I have a problem. Now, by the way, I don't use it as his problem. I say, someday you'll have a job, and they won't let you come to work. They'll fire you. I don't know if you have a job or not. That's too remote. I'm dealing with my problem, and my problem is you're obliged to be here. And number 2, when you walk in the room, 29 kids look up to see what you're doing. And I'm not sure you have the right to disrupt 29 kids just because you come in late, unless it's an awfully important reason anyway. And number 3, it's a problem to me because I get judged by your behavior. You see, when you're out in the hall, the other teachers or the administrators don't say, oh, there's that stupid Tommy in the hall. What they say is, oh, he's one of Mr. Page's students. Mr. Page has no classroom control. If I'm going to get judged on, then I'm going to worry about what you're doing and whether you're here. Now, in a lot of cases, when I really express my concern, what happens is the kid comes back and gives me his problem, how he sees it, where he's cut. In this case, it didn't work. Because what he said to me is, I don't care what you do to me. He said, I want to get to class on time. Now, what I have to do is say, what is my goal? Because my goal is to have a little ego battle to say who gets to tell who what to do around here. But I can handle that. But I'm not interested in ego battle. I'm interested in understanding. So I said, wait a minute, what do you mean? He said, I don't care whether you hit me, I don't care whether you tell my mother, I don't care whether you give an F, I don't care what you do, I would get to class on time. Now again, I could say, all right, I'll try. Let's go 1 and 3. If they don't work, I'll add a 4th one. And in this case, it was something simple. In this case, it was simply a matter that he had two friends who had phys ed when he had my English class. They did not dress out for phys ed, so in the 10 minutes everybody's getting dressed, he and his two friends stand at the drinking fountain and talk. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you mean that even though it affects my life, it distracts 29 people, even though it's a failure of your obligation, if you want to stand at the drinking fountain and talk, you talk. And if I can't do anything about it because I can't give you F and can't make the... Well, he wasn't sure about that. And I said, let me ask you this. Is what you talk about with your friends so important that you're willing to disrupt everything? Well, he wasn't sure about that. And I said, well, how about most of the time? Well, not most of the time. So we talked about it, and what we decided is that there probably was a time that he would be better off talking to his friends because they were on something that had more impact on his life than my subject. And so what I agreed to, as we negotiated, was that one day a week he was free to come in 10 minutes late. Now this is the part some people don't like. See, if your goal is to get the kid to class on time, and you get you a big stick and use it often, but if your goal is to teach him to get to class on time, then one of the things that may happen is that he may have to not come to class on time. I submit to you that he probably learned a whole lot more from that situation than he would from most any others. Because every day he had to decide, is today the day? Is this worth standing and talking about, or will be worth more tomorrow? Maybe I better go to class and let it even... Every day of his life he had to think about whether he had the right to be here or whether he was obliged to be in class. But every time he had a chance to do something, he had to decide whether he was going to do it or whether he was going to come to class, and that helped him make the decisions. The idea of giving them choices and helping them make decisions is really a crucial kind of thing, because a kid does not learn by being made to do things. He learns when he sees reasons, and